Please slowly come out from your meditation. Namaste, everybody. Today's topic is about Ashtavakra. I'm not going into the preachings of Ashtavakra because Dinesh is not doing that. It is about the name of Ashtavakra. In the Vana Parva, or the forest chapter of Mahabharata, when Pandavas and Draupadi, they were exiled for 12 years after losing in the games with Duryodhana. One Rishi, Lomash Rishi, he actually narrated the story of Ashtavakra to Pandavas and told them to have courage, have patience. What he said, Ashtavakra is not his real name. In Upanishad, we actually hear about a rishi called Uddalaka. Uddalaka was a great rishi. And his son was Shvetketu, who started the marriage institution during the end of Upanishadic Kal. Before that, in Vedic culture, there were no marriages because Upanishad and Vedas believed that everyone is free and no one can have control over other. So Uddalaka, his daughter was Sujata. And Uddalaka had a very brilliant and very talented disciple called Kahod. So Uddalaka married his daughter to Kahod. Kahod was very smart and he was a very good scholar. But the only problem with Kahod was he was a little arrogant. And as you know that when you are very smart and clever and people are respecting you and you have very powerful father-in-law and very beautiful wife, then what happens that people become lethargic. So when Sujata was pregnant with Ashtavakra Rishi, his father Kahod was reciting some mantras. And in Vedas, in mantras, one has to be very careful about the pronunciation. And Kahod made some mistakes there. The story goes that Ashtavakra from his mother's womb corrected his father. And what he did was not according to the scripture. So Kahod became very angry and he cursed the unborn child that he would be deformed at 8 places, or his 8 limbs will be deformed. And then when Sujata was going to deliver the baby, she asked her husband to go to King Janak, because Janak was holding a very scholarly debate and he was very generous king. So whoever wins the debate would be rewarded a lot of money in gold and in cattle. So Sujata sent her husband Kahod for the debate, but Kahod was a bit arrogant. And he challenged the resident scholar of Janak, Vandin. Vandin was the son of Varuna, the god of waters. So when he asked some questions, Kahoda could not answer the questions, and then, according to the condition, he was imprisoned. And here, Ashtavakra was born. Until the age of 10, he studied all the scriptures and he became very, very brilliant. Also, because of his soul, he was a very pious person, or pious child actually. And when he realized that what happened to his father, he went to King Janak and challenged the resident scholar Vandin and defeated him and released his father. This is the story in Mahabharata. And there are some different versions about this story. Someone would say that while he was correcting his father from his womb, his father actually punched 8 times on his wife's belly, so he was deformed in 8 limbs. Somebody would say he kicked his wife and her wife actually, and his wife fell on her belly. Because of that, Ashtavakra was deformed. But those references are not in the authentic scriptures anyway. After that, Janaka realized that this boy is very, very brilliant. And he also doing some sadhana. So after a while, Janak called Ashtavakra. And at that time, as we know that, Ashtavakra preached Janak. And that is Ashtavakra Gita. Now this is the story. But why he was called Ashtavakra? It is not that he was deformed at 8 limbs. And because he could not walk properly, he could not talk properly, he could not hold things properly, or anything like that. In our India, or in ancient India, digit 8 or number 8 has great importance. And that is because 8 represents the 8 directions, north, south, east, west, and then 4 in-betweens. If you go through the Hinduism or Hindu culture, especially on the religious way, you will find so many references with 8. Even on the spirituality, there would be many references about digit 8. One of the references, or very good references, and everybody can realize that we talk about the 8 sutras of Patanjali, Ashtanga Yoga. So eightfold yoga. Yam, Niyam, Prana, Asana, Prana, Pratyaya, Dhyan, Dhana, and Samadhi. If you look into Jainism, there would be reference about 8, Ashtakarma, eightfold actions. Jainas would say about Ashtagati, 8 types of destiny. Look at the Buddha. He preached about Ashtapath, Ashtanga path, Ashtanga marga, the eightfold ways or eightfold paths of Buddhism. And there is a big list there about this 8 number. For example, Ashtanga Vidya, the eightfold knowledge. Ashtanga Ardhya, the eightfold offerings. Ashtanga Avara, the 8 types of layers. Ashtakarma, 8 types of actions. Ashtaguna, eightfold virtues. Ashtaprakriti, eightfold natures. Ashtapuja, eightfold worship. Ashtasiddhi, Anima, Mahima, Garima, Laghima, Ishitva, Vashitva, Prakamya, and Prapti. So the eightfold powers. Even the Jain sadhus, they actually have masks to cover their nose and lips. It is called Ashtamukha Kosh. Then there would be Ashtamurti, like Ashtalakshmi. And then Ashtanga Pranam, the eightfold homages. Ashtanga Buddhi, eightfold intelligence. And Ashtanga Brahmacharya, eightfold celibacy. All these things, from Ashtanga Brahmacharya, from eightfold celibacy to Ashtanga Yoga, the eightfold unions, everything that was popular during his time, and when everyone was talking about this, all those eightfold things, which were very important for a sadhak in their sadhana, Ashtavakra denounced all those eightfold things. He denounced Ashtanga Yoga, eightfold yoga. He rejected Ashtanga Brahmacharya, eightfold celibacy, and everything. If you go through Ashtavakra Gita, the only essence is all about the absolute. It's all about beyond the consciousness. And because he banned all those eightfold paths and eightfold virtues and rituals, he was called Ashtavakra, the person who actually banned all this eightfold ideology. But after a while, the story actually came into the light and people accepted the story. But in reality, Ashtavakra was a very handsome boy. And because he denounced everything which was very popular during that time, he was called Ashtavakra. So when Janak realized his sadhana, his knowledge, his intelligence, he invited Ashtavakra again to his palace. And after listening to his discourses, if you go through the last two chapters of Ashtavakra Gita, you can figure out that for Ashtavakra, there was nothing but the pure consciousness. There was nothing but the absolute. All this eightfold ideology he denounced because he only believed in the absolute. Like there was a beggar. He was eating some food on the street. And a dog actually approached him. So the beggar fed him some food. The onlookers started to laugh because this beggar was feeding the dog. So beggar asked that person, "Why are you laughing? Can you not see that Vishnu is feeding Vishnu? Oh Vishnu." For him, everything and everyone was nothing but God or nothing but the absolute. While Shankaracharya was passing through one very narrow street in Varanasi, in Kashi, his rivals actually decided to kill him. So an elephant was brought in. They made the elephant drunk. And when Shankaracharya was passing on the narrow street, the elephant was released. So Shankaracharya knew that the elephant is not drunk and that would kill him any time. So as the elephant started to approach Shankaracharya, what he did, there was a dog nearby sleeping. He grabbed that dog and threw that dog on to the elephant. So elephant was a bit like, this was very unexpected for him. And during that few seconds, Shankaracharya figured out that there's one door open nearby. So he went into that house. After that, his rivals approached him and they said, "You used to preach that everything is Brahma, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya, this world is perishable, or just a illusion. Everything, everyone, everywhere is nothing but Brahma. So why did you run? In fact, for you, the elephant should be Brahma. You should be Brahma. Why did you run?" And Shankaracharya replied, "Elephant is Brahma. The dog is Brahma. I am Brahma. And the action of my running is also Brahma. Because everything is Brahma. So how would you differentiate?" For Ashtavakra, everything was beyond consciousness. And because he denounced all those eightfold ideologies, he was known as Ashtavakra. After listening to his discourses, Janak said in the last two chapters, "Where is meditation, pleasure, prosperity, discrimination, duality, unity, past, future, present, space, eternity? Where is self and where is not self? Where is good and evil, confusion and clarity? Where is sleeping, dreaming, waking, fear? Where is close or far, in or out, gross or subtle? Where is life and death? Where is distraction and stillness? There is no need to talk about anything. The talk of yoga is purposeless. Even talking about truth is irrelevant because there is only the self. There's no void, there's no mind, no organs, no body, no elements, no scriptures, no self-knowledge, no mind. Where is I? Where is this? Where is mine? Where is bondage? Where is ignorance? Where is knowledge? Where is liberation? Self has no attributes. This was the preaching of Ashtavakra. And because of that, because he denounced all those eightfold ideologies, he was known as Ashtavakra. Thank you very much. Now you can unmute yourself and share your thoughts. Thank you.
Sir, Madhvi here.
Hello, how are you, Madhviji?
Good, good. Thank you, sir. Just call me Madhvi. It's a very beautiful session, sir. I really, really personally liked so much about your sessions because you highlight and focus on so many in depth of the session, actually, especially when I see this Ashtavakra, the word itself, I thought that it is all about the Ashtavakras, like, you know,
Deformities
the
of limbs.
handicapped things.
Yeah.
I thought so. The thoughts which came was it was not about something, but the whole concept of Ashtavakra is completely changed after listening to your session. Really, I mean, to come out of those Ashtavakra, like as you said, that all the north and south and also we are coming across and we are overcoming through all these 8 folds in life and coming to that abode. It's very beautiful. Oh, it's so much enlightened on that particular part. It's very beautiful, sir, how you explained it. Thank you so much, actually. Yeah, thank you. I cannot express how happy I am, like after after knowing this concept before, because I thought that Ashtavakra is, I mean, Vakra in the sense, it's some kind of a
Crooked, yeah, it's crooked or the
yeah,
deformed.
exactly. So always I had that thought of Vakra. I mean, in general, not about the session or anything, but there is a lot of in-depth in that Vakra as well. That you highlighted, that is really beautiful, actually. The how we overcome that 8 parts or 8 folds or 8
Eightfold
crookedness or
ideology.
8,
Yeah, yes,
yes, and also 8 what you call 8 the powers which we hold in ourselves,
yes,
and we also need to come out of that 8 powers or 8 uh, wisdoms or directions. It's
yes,
very beautiful. I don't know how to express with my words, but I hope you got what I mean.
yes, I
Yeah.
know exactly. Yes, good.
Thank you so much. It's very beautiful. Very, very beautiful.
Nice. Balaji wants to say something. Please do so.
Yeah. It's wonderful. Very, very well explained. I just want to say something. See, isn't it on the path of the enlightenment, unless we feel oneness everywhere, don't we need all these, eightfold paths and eightfold sutras, whatever, after we reached to that stage, we can just leave everything. And when one becomes into, the whole, like Ramana Maharshi and Ashtavakra. But on the path, when we are on the path, I think we need to follow all this to some extent, until we reach to that level, isn't it?
Well, there are 2 ways to explain it, in fact. Because it's a human nature to do something. Otherwise, if someone actually tells us that, fine, don't do anything, just live your life, and in our life, one need only has to be present in every single moment. So we live our lives, and if we try to be present in that particular moment and in every moment, so what kind of effort we have done? People would say there's no effort there anyway, so it must be worthless. Human nature is like, it wants to stay always active and input something because of the ego. When we say there is a path, or there are some different endeavors or sadhans or sadhana, by doing some kind of sadhana, one can achieve the siddhi or the attainment or the power, destiny.
Yes.
That is our human nature. We always believe that if we did something, then we will actually receive something. But the idea of spirituality is to be silent, to do nothing whatsoever, to go into void. Void doesn't mean darkness or anything like that. So how would you actually go into void, or how would you actually stop doing everything and anything? That is not possible.
Yeah.
Because we are living our lives. Even say, for example, if we are sitting somewhere in the corner, we are still breathing. So
yes,
activities will be there always. But we only have to be present in the particular moment. The concept of receiving, of becoming, of gaining, of getting, of attaining something is the concept created by our ego.
Yeah, that is true. Already when we are there, there is no, we are being, there is no becoming.
So if one is, say, being and not becoming, what does it mean? That you are that. Tattva Masi, the Upanishad says, you are that. That only means that you are the absolute. There is nothing to gain, nothing to be somewhere else, nothing to achieve, because you are that. You are not different from you want to achieve. The desire to achieve is incompleteness.
That is true. When we are in this world using all our senses, then we lose that consciousness of being. We need to hold on to it, being in that present moment all the time.
That's the only sadhana. That's it. And
Yeah.
it is not even the sadhana, it's just awareness about who you are. That's it. And that is why when we say eightfold celibacy or eightfold knowledge or eightfold yogas or eightfold karmas or eightfold ashtamarga or eightfold paths, we actually like that because we want to do something. Our ego inspires us to do something so we can take proud that we have achieved this thing. But the spirituality is exactly opposite of that. There will be no proud. There will be no ego. There would be no achievement. Nothing to achieve. Nothing to lose. That is why if someone says that we need all these things, they are not bad. It's not bad. They are good. But end of the day, one has to actually share all those things. Now the idea is very simple. Either you just use the lift and climb 100 stories in going by lift, or you climb the stairs of 100 stories or floors. All this sadhana is climbing the stairs.
So basically, you don't hold on to it. Just once you understand, leave it.
Yes, it will. I mean, once you understand, you don't even able to leave it because
automatically it falls off.
It will automatically go away.
Yeah.
So once you, even if you started from the very bottom step, but once you reach to the the upper steps, then the bottom ones will automatically be discarded.
Yes.
There's the path, one actually for those who want to believe in that way, but Ashtavakra's path is very straightforward. I am that, or Upanishad says, you are that, Aham Brahmasmi Tattvamasi, all sort of things. So to believe that you are that and nothing to achieve, nothing to lose, and just be silent, and when mind goes away in silence, then your true self should be revealed.
Shines, reveals and shines. Wonderful. Thanks a lot. Thank you for all the explanation. Wonderful.
Thank you. Yes, Sashankji.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vijayji. It was wonderful. I was doing some exercise and listening. It was
Oh,
great. I also learned something new as Madhavi told today that I thought Ashtavakra means it just deformations, but thank you so much for explaining this deep concept. And when Balaji was asking this question, I was also giving it a thought. Recently, I was pondering upon this concept. Like imagine there is a forest and you are at on the top of one of the topest trees. So you're at very high position. You can see the entire landscape.
Mm.
So if someone enters in the forest or someone is exiting in forest, all the paths you can see that.
Mm.
So when I was thinking, for someone who is at a very high stage, everything is one. They can see everything. There is no linear way, like to do something and to achieve something.
Mm.
But the one who is walking on the path, they want to walk or they want to search for different paths so that they can achieve somewhere. They can go somewhere. So I think, or at least like understand like this, it's one thing like, or in the end, maybe it's to realize, of course, we are one with this consciousness and we are this pure awareness, and all the paths, of course, focus or lead to this state of a continuous awareness. But something to think upon, this concept of at a higher state, and how the those enlightened masters would see from that state, and how the ones who forgot themselves looking for different paths. So thank you. Just wanted to share that.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Very good. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
I have one more question, sir. On when Shashank just now said that when we reach on the top of the mountain or top of the, then we can see the paths very clearly, and we don't chase on any path, or we don't go on any other path, or we are like kind of an enlightened. But when do we actually know that we are already on that high top of the mountain or high peak? Only when we are completely in the awareness and consciousness, or when do you think that this could be achieved?
When you believe it firmly, you see. When one has silenced their mind, and when one is entering into the zone of silence or the void or emptiness or the fullness, whatever you name that, you will realize that all those things we have heard or read or did, actually they were purposeless or useless even. There is no purpose in this existence at all, apart from once you realize yourself that what or who you are. That's the only purpose. Now, when we say that we walk on the path first, and then gradually we climb stairs, or we actually go to the upper state and then higher state and again a higher state, and ultimately you reach on the top of the tree or mountain or anything. Like Shankaracharya, for him, he mentioned about the ocean, that if you are in a boat, in a steamer, and if that boat is in the middle of the ocean, then you can only see the water all around. We normally think that, and that was not the idea of the people who preached Upanishad, or the enlightened ones we call them. They had never said anything about going through so many different paths. They simply said that you are that, full stop. There is no path. There is no way. Everybody can believe that particular, just one sentence, that you are that, in different ways. There's a different thing, because we all are different. Every skull has different skills. But end of the day, the sadhana or the siddhi, or the endeavors or the achievement, they are not different. Problem only starts when we believe that this is our effort and that is our destiny. From that moment, problem starts. And all the religions were created after failing to understand the very simple knowledge, a very simple sentence of you are that Tattvamasi. And then they started different kind of paths and different kind of efforts and endeavors and achievements, and then there would be reward, and then there would be heaven and hell, and so many things appeared. Then there would be disciple and master, and pleasing the guru and doing exactly what guru says. All those things were not actually meant at all, because somebody failed to understand or did not want to do that. He started, and human nature is very fragile, it's very dependent. And that is why we cling to either guru, or we cling to this kind of belief system, or this kind of paths. Because what human thinks that there should be somebody who can guide us, who can enlighten us, or at least who can actually direct the way, go into this direction or that direction. And why is that? Because we do not know about the future, the fear of the future, fear of the unknown. And that is why all this religion, and second thing is greed. We want something more. All the religions are based on greed and fear. If you do this, then you will be rewarded in heaven in that way. If you did not do this, then somebody will be punished in the heaven or in the hell, in the hellfire, or things like that. But end of the day is only one thing, that you are that, and that is the only path.
Yeah.
That's the only path.
Understood, sir. That means the main achievement of myself is to reach that silence abode in myself, whatever the path or whatever the direction I choose then.
Yes, just to feel that silence. You are not reaching anywhere.
Yes.
You just feel that silence. And how could that be possible? Focusing on a singular point. Like if somebody focuses on the breaths, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's
Understood.
that's the only sadhana one has to do. And lastly, I would end this session by with one Ramana Maharshi's caption or a incident. Somebody went to Ramana Maharshi and said, I want to have sakshatkar, I want to have realization. So what shall I do? Ramana Maharshi just said, be silent. That's it.
I know what you mean. I read this book and I also gave the session on the Ramana Maharshi, yes, to reach that abode and silence. Yeah, beautifully explained, sir. Thank you so much. Always with the beautiful sessions.
Okay, Sashanji, we can now end the session. Yeah. Tomorrow morning, as usual, there will be meditation. So please do join tomorrow morning at normal time. And thank you very much for bearing with. Thank you. Namaste, everyone.
Thank you so much, Vijayji, once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.